So, hi everybody. I'm really excited to have a new guest here today. This is Virginie, and the reason I wanted to interview her was because I saw a comment in the group, my Facebook group, where she talked about getting free of some old ideas and some old physical issues. And it was from reading my book. So I was really intrigued to talk to her and ask her like how she came to find this group and how she found the book. So Virginie, would you like to introduce yourself and just tell us what was going on with you before, and then how you found these ideas?
Yeah, of course. So I'm Virginie. I lived half of my life in France, half of it in England, and just came back to France last year. And basically, I think to just summarize, so I don't do a biography of myself, it'd be boring. I suffered from digestive issues pretty much all my life, and I suffered from anxiety because I was brought up in a very anxious, family, very controlling, very anxious. I never really put the two together, that maybe one had an effect on the other. And I spent pretty much all my life trying to fix myself, fix pretty much not my thinking, because at the time it was just not, I didn't see any correlation between the two. So it was really about, I need to fix my health, fix my digestive issues. And of course I had lots of reinforcement from the environment saying that there was something wrong with my gut, something wrong with, you name it. So that was reinforcing the thinking that something was wrong with myself all the way through. So I just went the full Monty in terms of new diets, new protocols, new supplements, in-depth checkups, tests, you know. And I even I worked in corporate marketing, and I retrained in nutrition as well, because I thought, of course, nutrition is going to fix it. It's
Right.
all about digestion. That I'm going to find the bacteria or the supplement or the probiotic. It's going to be the core, and of course, it wasn't. And I think it brought me even more thinking and layers of what could go wrong in my body, what I needed, in fact, to fix what could go wrong, to prevent it, to be on top of the league of what could go wrong. And I just kind of drowned myself more and more, and then ended up with big health anxiety. Um, it was just hell. And at the time, I think like 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, I started like looking into more kind of mind and body connection elements, and trying to do meditation to slow down my thinking, all these kind of self-help therapies to just try again to manage things. And then I came up to the three principle a year ago and a bit, through Nicola Bird. I don't know if you know her,
Yes, of course.
one of her program. And that opened such a um, such freedom, such distanciation with myself, such hope with the whole thing. So from that moment till today, I've been exploring the three principle, and it really started to just shed so much, or bring so much more clarity in what I had been experiencing till then. And I saw so much thinking I had on my health, on my food management, which was just crazy. And I knew my partner would just laugh at myself, would laugh at me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's, didn't do the trick. I still couldn't see it. But learning about how we feel our thinking, and how, depending on the level of thinking we have, we feel differently, and it has lots of consequences, and in the body as well, was a whole kind of game changer. So I started seeing that I had a whole kind of public relation department in my head about nutrition. And
Oh,
gut health, you know, and that was just driving my body on fight or flight, or like hyper alert all the time. And this was harming my body, you know, 1 billion times more than the food I was consuming.
right.
So, you know, it just kind of I hadn't seen that way, you know. I thought it was just by doing more that I would just fix things, rather than doing less and less and less and less, you know. um, and so I explored more, and I you know, had like different experience with different teachers. And from a group I'm doing at the moment, I found somebody recommended your book,
Mhm.
Painless. And I say, oh, that sounds like for me, because it's about health, and I have health issues. You know, I have health issues. You know, it's me. So
Right.
that's gonna work for me. And so I, you know, started reading it, and everything was just kind of really another, you know, another time, or where I could see all that I had been doing, and the heaviness of everything, and how all my body symptoms were just a reaction to the heaviness of my thinking. Another thing, for instance, I couldn't understand was each time I was going to my parents, and I was doing a lot of like going back to my childhood and analyzing everything that went wrong and they did to me, blah blah blah. I was going there, I think it was kind of amplified, because I was seeing them and seeing them as the guilty ones that did that to me, etc. So I had so much thinking about it, and I had always weird body symptoms, and I didn't connect the two. And then when I came back, I would come back to my home, or back to England, they would go. And I was just like, well, this is weird. There's something in the food they're consuming, or in their
Yeah,
water.
that was it.
And
But I thought French food was supposed to be good.
yeah, exactly. So there was something I couldn't connect here. And then you know, reading all the stories of all your characters in your book as well, and seeing all the stories they were making up behind their symptoms, or in their life, you know, whether it's their family, or it's their work, or it's their anger against something in life, and the impact it had on their body symptoms. I just like say, gosh, you know, this is all those stories I'm making up in my head, like a tornado of analyzing the past, which is past and gone, has nothing, you know, blaming my parents, which I love dearly, and they did the best they could. And all of that I was making up as a bomb, you know, in my head. I think they say, you know, if you think you're enlightened, go and spend a week with your family. I think that was just like, this is what triggers everything. And it helped me just put perspective with it. And I think one really big thing from your book that just really made a huge difference to me was, I think, I don't want to read it not properly, but I think you mentioned that thinking or thoughts can die of neglect.
Mm.
And for some reasons, you know, out of the whole book, there's so many sentences, that one really resonated big, because I just suddenly thought, yeah, I can have those fearful thinking, because me, it's not anger or anything, it's more fear. I can have all of that. But if I don't go for a ride with them, they can just pass and die, and then move on. And then something's after that. And usually it's something much better, much more guiding than what I had before. So I started seeing thought as fluid, as not meaning much if I leave them alone, if I don't, you know, pick at them or and look at them with the microscope. So it felt like I could just have them, but not be interested with them, and lose interest, basically, quickly or quicker.
Mhm.
And again, it wasn't something I had to do, or okay, or now I have to lose interest, or I have to let them die of neglect. You know, I wasn't seeing it that way. It's not something to do. It was just kind of relaxing into, it's not on me. Maybe I can just relax and be the observer and witness that I have I have a thought, it can just go. I can think of myself of, oh, what if the symptom is that? oh yeah, that's fine, and just kind of let it pass. And I have nothing to do. It was just such a, yeah, such a relief, such a kind of freedom reminder that it's not on me. Like I can just relax, that there's a system where thoughts are just passing.
That's
And
such a powerful insight because, like you said, I actually had a real psychologist say that to me about, about 20, maybe 25 years ago. We were just chatting in conversation, and I was just curious, to talk to a professional. Like we were sitting by out on my deck, I think, by my house, and she was a friend of a friend coming to visit, and I said, is it possible for thoughts to die of neglect?
mm.
And it was really funny because she kind of looked at me, and she looked at me and said, yes, but don't tell anyone or I'll be out of a job.
Oh, right, yeah, exactly.
Right. And I thought, okay, all right, got it, moving on, another cup of tea.
Yeah.
And so that kind of that statement always stuck in my mind, and so I was really glad that, to be able to put it into the story. And I just love the way that you saw that as a not doing, that that it didn't mean then you have to like work on neglecting your thinking, because that was my first insight into the principles, was ignoring my thoughts, which is what I'd come up with, and seeing that even ignoring your thoughts is doing something. So yeah, and so that freedom that comes from being able to watch your thoughts go by and not have to analyze them, get involved with them, give them permission to leave, whatever it is, we have the different things we come up with. So how did that start affecting your state of mind, or your physical stuff, or how you were living and eating at that point?
But you saw, like I came back to France like a year ago. So in England, and also when I was in England, I had a stressful. My job was stressful, and I got made redundant, which was that was the life living through me because I didn't do anything for it. It was
Right.
just the perfect thing that happened. But I was in such a control of my diet, it's like no gluten, no dairy, no sugar, check this, check that. And when I came back to France, I just say, you know what, I've got enough, let's see if what can be done on a, I'm nutritionist as well. So I have an idea of what's good eating, eating close to nature and this kind of ideas, concepts. But I just relaxed into this control of, and I started eating gluten and cheese, to some degree, and enjoying what I was eating, and just relaxing in that whole aspect of my life, just giving a bit more free reins to that element. And if we go to friends and I eat what's there, I don't start like necessarily, oh my gosh, I have to plan something like a doggy bag just in case on the side. So the whole relaxation just brought much more relief to some symptoms I had. I still have some, but I'm not on a crusade to fix them all. And maybe I have to live with some of them for the rest of my life, because that's also part of, we also all have weaknesses and things that maybe are there, but at least I've found kind of some freedom with the control, and my body's responding. If anything, I'm much better now than I was in England with so much control. So surely that can't be just the food, there's so much behind it. And I'm trying to also take that, it's not that I'm trying to, but this approach of letting go and being more of a witness of life than controlling what I'm going to do with my life or the next step with my kids, or just seeing that there's so much less to do if we all curious about the idea. And I'm not seeing clear through everything, by all means, but it's just the same relaxation with my body I can also have in other areas of my life, in that space of curiosity of what if I could just let it happen for me a little bit, And the funny thing is, I've seen that the areas of my life where I have the least thinking about, that's where I get the most back. That's where things start happening or unfolding in a way that's more beneficial, that is surprising, that is exciting. And the areas of my life where I still have lots of thinking about, or the crux is like, it feels harder. So it's just kind of the reflection of where I'm at.
Yeah.
It's just fascinating. So
And I'm so impressed you got all of that just from reading a book, you know, to have one. And I think that's one of the reasons I wanted to write it as a novel, to have, so the characters, people could identify with the characters, because not everybody likes reading textbooks or you know, research papers and stuff like that. And so, and getting to study the science and the facts and all the work. There's so much information out there. So by putting it into characters who are doing and I don't actually remember having a character that had was there someone with stomach problems? There was maybe one character who had IBS, I think.
yeah, yes.
And but I think once you start seeing past the symptoms, that I think a lot of people have told me they identify with bits of all of the characters, in how they, like you said, were trying to control situations, how they were misunderstanding their feelings, and how they're or the busy work, or the many, you know, methods and techniques out there, even like you, like starting to research and turning it into, you know, qualifications. You know, some of the people I talk to are so informed about their illnesses, they're probably more of an expert than the specialist that they go see, you know. You know, I was kind of getting that way. So I'm really touched that, you know, when people actually feel like they identify with the characters and get so much benefit from just reading the adventure, the story of what happened.
I think the beauty of your book is exactly that. It's just it's real life, it's real emotions in real context. Because yeah, I mean, you can go and read Sydney Banks, you know, books or other, you know, but it won't necessarily resonate for everybody, and it doesn't necessarily. It can, depending on where you are on your journey, it can feel so foreign, so far, you know, because your book just brings everything to real life, that it's possible for real people with their real problems or perceived problems and their issues, and with so much hope. So that's such a beauty in that.
Well, I really appreciate your time and your wisdom, and like sharing your wisdom with us, because I think it's really helpful to other people to see that that even in the midst of pain and despair and the absolute frustration that can come with that, that like you said, just regular people like us can get well and have the most amazing insights, and the ripple effect that starts having, you know, and not just in the area that was the physical issue, but into the rest of our lives, and you know, our relationships, and how we just see ourselves, and how we relate to everybody else, and the world around us. So I really appreciate your time, and thank you so much for coming and joining us. And I look forward to, you know, more of your sharing your wisdom and your insights in our group. So
thank you, Hannah.
So much. We'll be in touch. Okay.
You're welcome. Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye.